In this video, we're going to cover the worst mistakes that I made that meant that I was constantly getting injured, and the 3 most important things that you need to master to avoid future whoopsies. When you get aches and pains and run into injuries all the time, it's natural to feel like you need some crazy fancy exercises in order to fix yourself, but this couldn't be further from the truth. If I saw a video or an image of someone holding a red bit, I would be thinking, that's the same red bits that I have. I would immediately do or buy whatever it was that they showed me, even though I knew that there was exercises that I sucked at and I needed to improve. I genuinely already knew what they were. But these basic moves were too simple. I'm special. I needed something really complex to fix me. Something over-explained, complicated, with multiple pieces of equipment and strict parameters. My mistakes were refusing to accept how poor my flexibility and my stability was, chasing quick fixes, and trying to blame individual muscles for being the cause of all of my problems. It would be like trying to carve out the eyebrows of a marble statue before even carving out the head. There's a time and a place for fancy movements and isolating muscles, but to be strong enough to not run into issues all of the time, here are the 3 best areas to focus on. Lunges! You want to be able to lunge all day, every day, lunge your face off. Doesn't matter if it's a Tuesday, you want to be able to lunge. What day is this, Jenny? It's Friday, doesn't matter, Jenny, you should be able to lunge. In fact, it's double on Fridays. Lunges are your best friend. If you want to be able to drop it like it's hot on the dance floor, you need to be able to lunge. Don't worry, if you can't though, how we break that down is we start to use assistance by holding on. So Jenny here is using a rig post to help her to actually go through the movement, so she can use her arms to help to pull her up. If you don't have a rig post, don't worry, you can use a kitchen chair, the door frame, a banister, anything that's handy that you can use to bring yourself back up. You also have partial ranges as well, so if you get knee pain, you can work through a small partial and bring yourself back up and just focus on one leg at a time. And once you get the hang of that, you can even work on negatives, so Jenny can bring herself down without assistance. Try and tap the knee nice and gently, and then hold on to bring herself back up. So that's how you can start to work on lunges, even if you find them really challenging. Once you get the hang of them and you're back out here again, you can do them in all ways, all day, every day. Then we want to make sure we're weighting these things up. You do not want to be the heaviest thing that you lift. So Jenny is holding a dumbbell here in the goblet position, and she can go through those exact same things, stepping backwards. She can do the curtsy lunges as well. And you can work on all of those movements with that added bit of weight. So once it starts to get really easy for you, you add weight to make it harder again, and then you try to get to a point where that even feels easier as well. Here are some ideas of how you can incorporate lunges into your workouts. We can have a timer for 30 seconds where you just do continuous reps and try and get as many reps in 30 seconds as you can. We can do 3 sets of 10 each leg, so that would lead you to doing 30 lunges on each side. The 100 lunge test is a great one to work on. Can you do 100 lunges in a row without having to take any breaks? If you can't do that, you can build that up by doing 5 sets of 20 reps with breaks, and that accumulates your 100, or you can break it up even more and do 10 sets of 10 reps. You want to get to a point that you can do a timer for 5 to 15 minutes, and you could just lunge continually, working through all the variations, even with weight, and not need to stop. The lunge is key to getting up and down off the floor, walking up hills, walking up stairs. You want to be so good at lunges that you are stupid strong. Stupid strong is whenever you're so stupidly strong, it would be ridiculous for you to ever run into any problems. Number 2 is animal movements. Is it a bear? Is it a crab? We don't know, but we definitely know it's a Jenny, and these are awesome things that you can work on. This helps to strengthen the shoulders, gets movement into the hips, and works on the core and the spine as well. Don't worry if you struggle to hold yourself up. You can regress these down by sitting down and just almost doing like a bit of a bum shuffle, or just lifting yourself up and down as well. And if you're in the crawling position, you can just work knees on the floor and work on crawling like this. If you've ever had too many tequilas, you've probably done this before. So this is the bear and the crab, and just that transition as well, turning around and swapping side to side, is really, really good for your shoulders. The bear and the crab, absolutely awesome. We also have different things as well, like going into the frogger position. So this works on your deep squat, and we can also work on the shoulders here, and you just push yourself forward and lift things up, get a nice stretch in the hips. If we want to get some nice hamstring stretches as well, we have the ostrich walk, which I've never seen an ostrich do, but apparently it gets a nice, good hamstring stretch. You try and keep a nice soft bend in the front knee, get the leg a little bit straight, and just go to where you can. Again, if this is too intense for you, just go to a partial range. So if Jenny had really tight hamstrings, we can just work on those little ranges like that. And then our last one we want to give you for an example is the duck walk. So this is another nice one that works on your squat mobility. The heels can be up here and we can just really work this. Opens up the knees, gets everything moving, and it's just really nice things to string together, and you can never get bored of these. You can do them for time. They are so much fun. These animal movements are just an example, but there are so many variations you can play with and so many other animal movements out there as well you can experiment with and have a wiggle with. A few workout ideas you can use for this is to set a timer for around 5 to 10 minutes. You can go through some of them and change, mix and match, or you can just stick to one and try and perfect it. You could count each step as a rep, so you could do 3 sets of 10 reps. Or if you have enough space, you could do lengths forwards and backwards. Something I really love to do is combine the animal movements with weighted exercises as well into supersets. This is something you would see in our program Stability Builder. Our last one is balance and jumping. You want to be able to know how to load your hips, be able to explode, and be able to absorb that impact as well. Balance is a basic skill that has been linked to longevity in studies. You want to make sure that you've got really good balance, otherwise your hips are going to feel awful. And I have even seen people having disc injury symptoms just from having poor balance. A good first marker to check for is, can you balance on each leg individually for 30 seconds at a time without wobbling around like a mad thing. But remember, we want to shoot for stupid strong, so we want to smash that 30 seconds eventually and be able to do 5, 10, 200 hours on one leg at a time. And if you were standing on one leg, even if someone was to come along and try and push you over, oh, you'd be able to stabilize and you'd be able to cope with it. Really nice exercise that you can work on to build the stability is the single leg deadlift. So Jenny is trying to access the hamstring here. She's pushing your hips back, and the clockwork version of that is to actually go off in different angles. So this teaches your hip to stabilize in all different positions, and we can do this on each leg. So really, really nice drill to work on. Don't worry if you are falling all over the place. The more you actually are falling at the start, the more you have to gain from it. Once you've got the hang of the single leg deadlift and you're able to control it and have really good awareness with it, we want to take that to jumping and landing as well. But first of all, we need to check our position. So with a 2-legged deadlift, can you send the hips back and feel the hamstrings really well? From there, can you explode up and jump and then land back in that same position again? So if Jenny was to jump up and land, and stumble all over the place, we got to work on that. We want to see, can we replicate positions? So we jump, we land nice and soft into the hips and not round in the back or landing everything and all the weight going into the knees. Once you've got the hang of that, we want to take it further again. We want to see, can we do the single leg deadlift version of that? So from here, Jenny tries to hop up, and can she land back down in that same position? Well done, Jenny. This is a really, really challenging one. We want to see, can you do that on each leg? And what you'll see with some people sometimes is they might have one leg that's really wobbly, and they'll land and they'll start to twist as they land down. So we want to start to work on these things, challenge the balance in any which way, and once you find a drill get too easy for you, try and think of any way that you can make it harder. You want your back end to be strong and powerful. You don't want to have a loose caboose. Here are some awesome ways you can add in the single leg deadlift to your training. So you can go for 3 to 5 sets of 10 on each leg. Remember, eventually you can start to weight these up as well. For supersets in between your lifts, so say you were doing a normal barbell lift like a squat or a deadlift, you could do 3 to 5 jumps in between your set. For the skill work of the jumping and landing drill, you could do 5 to 3 sets of that and just work on 3 reps at a time and try to be as explosive as you can and land as solid as you can as well. Adding these things in is the best way to feel strong, mobile, and confident with your body. Always remember that you want to get crazy good at lunging, holding yourself up, and balancing. You don't need to do them every day, but slotting these exercises into your week is awesomely beneficial. The best injury is the one that never happened because you were already stupid strong. Oh, and if you want to know how to get started, head over to tommorrison.uk and check out the simplistic mobility method.